I'm a recovering central banker turned investor. I spent about 10 years at the New York Fed. I've been with JP Morgan 7 years, and I currently look after our real estate asset management business, which is about $80 billion globally. For the last 20 years, we've been in a globalizing world where the cheapest input to any supply chain was just brought into America, and it really changed the commercial real estate landscape in America, but also led to some vulnerabilities. So what is globalization? I will take the cheapest input, put it into my supply chain so I can make more profits in America. But now America wakes up heavily reliant on the rest of the world for critical industries. Think things like semiconductors, batteries, electronic motion, the things that make artificial intelligence happen. We're critically reliant, and now these are the industries that are going to drive national defense and innovation in the years forward. In the industrial space in America, we've added about 4.5 billion square feet of warehouse and distribution centers in the last 20 years. That's about 7 times the size of Manhattan. And then manufacturing, we've added only 350 million square feet, so about half the size of Manhattan. We have now become vulnerable to this manufacturing side and prioritized, give me my things now. Across industrial, what really drives industrial total returns has been your proximity to people. How close can I put that Amazon box to your house? And second is, how wealthy are those people in that area? How much more can they spend on those goods? But now there's a new variable entering the chat, and it's the power of these industrial buildings. Traditional logistics buildings are very low-powered entities. But if you're going to onshore a robotics business, aerospace and defense, battery production, they need a lot of power. And there's not ubiquitous or evenly distributed power across America. So these are becoming very concentrated in specific areas, but increasingly the supply of this type of product just doesn't exist. Very few buildings have enough power to do what these businesses need to do. So a big development surge has to happen to make this possible. First and foremost, there's a supply and demand imbalance for this type of product. So if you own high-powered manufacturing facilities, there's more demand than there's supply for that product, prices should go up. The second is, this type of manufacturing plant is going to lure very high-paid workers. These folks that work in these manufacturing plants will need places to live, places to spend money, grocery stores and the like. So you get a multiplier effect. The third point, which is probably the most critical, is this type of investment is only happening in a handful of states. You're talking places like Texas, Pennsylvania, California, New York, and Arizona. It's somewhat of a niche shift, but if you believe it to be national defense, which I do, this spending and investment will happen regardless of what happens to the unemployment rate, what happens to wage growth. We need this infrastructure, it's critical. I think the dominant reasons are, number one, that's where the CHIPS Act and the Inflation Reduction Act are spending. Second is, private investors are getting this luxury of tax credits should they do this investment. The third one is that these are places where energy is abundant, and not all, but some, climate risk is somewhat less of a risk than in other places. As I see it, this shift in what's happening in the industrial space tees up 3 really good opportunities for investors. Number one, an incremental shift towards manufacturing supply. The second opportunity is this type of investment is critical to national defense issues of America. I think the third opportunity set is that these investments will have concentrated areas where you want to focus, but will have very confident and durable income streams to investors. So the players that need high power and that are getting onshored via the Inflation Reduction Act and CHIPS Act tend to be semiconductor businesses, aerospace and defense, robotics. So without this infrastructure build, those things aren't possible.